Good morning, Metaverse. I am Thor with the Red Hand, and it has been a very long time since I've posted a video, but I have not been sitting on my hands doing nothing. I've actually been extremely active and working as hard as I can to prepare myself for the upcoming markets in crypto and specifically crypto gaming, and even more specifically in Star Atlas. There's a few other projects that I also follow very closely, such as Illuvium. I'm watching Synergyland as another one that just moved over to the Polygon chain, and then Mirandus in Gala Games, Spider Tanks. So those are some of the games that I have my eyes on, and I really saw that the bear market was in, and that is a time to put your head down and work hard. And that is what I would recommend for anybody that has been in the crypto game world, or just cryptos in general. And or if anybody is getting into it right now, this is still the bear market. It's looking like we're having some recovery, possibly breaking out of it, maybe not, but it is definitely a time to be preparing yourself for when the markets do turn around and you switch from that bear market into a bull market. Whatever the thing that kicks that off is, I want to be ready for it. And so I'll talk a little bit about that while we're going through, but there was a comment in one of my videos about 10 or 11 days ago now, but I really wanted to cover it, and I thought it would be a great one to jump back into things. And that was from Gabriel, and he had asked me to do a comparison between the Fimbul Mamba, Pierce F4, and the Calico ATS Enforcer. He believed that they were the most powerful ships in the mid-class and the best cost benefit in the game so far. And I love that comparison. It is actually something that I have thought long and hard about, and I also came up with that same conclusion. So I wanted to do that comparison for everybody else, and figured it would be a fun way to start making videos again and getting back into the swing of things. So let's jump on over there. Now, since this is a 3-ship comparison, I'm going to just be using the marketplace data for the 3 different ships. There are actually several really good tools that have been developed by community members to do comparison of ships. For example, one from the club, they have a ship comparison tool that actually I believe Metaverse Explorer did on one of his episodes. It's very useful for putting 2 ships in comparison with each other. But since we're doing 3, we'll do it like this, and I'll go through them and give my opinion on what one would be the best out of the 3, and the one that I would purchase first if I had a choice. And so the way that I'm going to look at this is first looking at the crew slots, because the crew slots, as we found out in the economic papers, is very important when it comes to crafting when you've docked your ships at a starbase. And the more crew members you have, the faster you'll be able to, or should I say, the more crafting you're able to do. And so it doesn't matter what type of crew it is, it's just the number of crew members. So, for example, the Mamba here has 4 crew members, which is going to be important for the comparison. And then I'm going to go into the components. And so in the components, I'm really looking for anything that's standing out of the ordinary, above or below a medium slot. And so I have the large slot impulse engine. So between medium and large, from each size, small, medium, large, capital, Moving from one to the next increases its power or its ability by 2.7 times. So this large impulse engine is 2.7 times more powerful than a medium impulse. So that's important. Also, the hard points usually vary a little bit. So this has 2 medium slot hard points and 2 large hard points. And then it has 1 missile bay. Okay, and then we move down to the modules, and so this has a medium brig and then a small ammunition module. It's small, so it's reduced by 2.7 times. And then so that's the Fimbio Mamba, and this is a beast of a ship. I'm a really big fan of the Mamba. It is focused on the bounty hunting part of Star Atlas, and I think that's going to be one of the earlier types of gameplay that's going to be available once UE5 and flying the ship around to be able to roll that out. That was one of the first things that Star Citizen was able to come up with as a game loop, and I imagine that's going to be something similar for Star Atlas. And so this is a great ship as far as your biggest bang for your buck. Like I said, the Mamba is a beast of a ship and always at the top of my lists. So the next, we're actually going to go to the Pierce F4. Now the Pierce F4 has 5 crew members. Okay, so quite a few crew members. And then in the components, it has a large impulse engine, just like the Mamba. So it's just as fast as the Mamba. It's got 2 large hard points, which the Mamba had 2 large hard points. The Mamba had 2 medium hard points and only 1 missile bay. This has 2 missile bays. Okay, so I think overall the F4 is going to have less firepower than the Mamba, but it's a pretty close comparison. You're going to have sort of a different tool set to work with, and you're going to play it differently. But the overall firepower is actually going to be pretty close. Then we go down to modules, and we have a medium slot cargo and a medium fuel. And so, the F4 is considered a fighter type ship, but it also has cargo, extra fuel, it's fast, and that helps it flex to a transport type ship. And so it is a fighter ship with good firepower, large hard points, 2 missile bays, but it's also able to carry cargo. And it's 2 medium slots versus a medium and a small, the way the Mamba is. Okay. Now going on to the last one, the ATS Enforcer. This one, it's got 2 crew members, so that's a big discount in its value proposition for the game. But it has where is it? Oh, the 1 capital slot hard point. This big old thing on the front, just swinging around. That is a capital size gun, and that is 2.7 times as big as a large hard point. And so that plus 2 medium hard points is already more firepower than the Mamba, and then 2 missile bays on top of that. So it's got a lot in the firepower department. Then the ammunition and the fuel are both a medium slot, so it has larger modules than the Mamba. And so in that comparison, I think the ATS Enforcer wins out between the Mamba and the ATS Enforcer. And then taking a look at the Enforcer versus the F4. Clearly, ATS Enforcer beats it out in the firepower, but the crew slots, you have 2.5 times as many crew slots for the F4 than you do the ATS Enforcer, which really starts to determine what kind of gameplay that you're planning on having. If you're planning on being in the ship and really active, flying around, going through battles, and really putting a lot of time into to combat, then the ATS Enforcer is probably going to be the ship that wins out overall. If you want a more passive type gameplay where you're going to be playing an hour a day and then you're going to dock your ships and have it craft things, then the Pierce F4 is going to be the clear winner from that standpoint. And for me, the Pierce F4 is my favorite ship. I do want to jump over and take a look at how close that firepower is, just to see how that really looks. And so here on AFIA's firepower tool that they've put together, this is really useful for doing quick comparisons. The scores are pretty close together, but you have the Mamba is actually the lowest at 234. Then you have the Pierce F4 at 268. So I'm feeling really good about that, the F4 being my favorite. The Calco Enforcer is almost over 100 points higher. And like I said, if you're going to be all combat, then the ATS Enforcer, that is the way that I would go. But for my personal gameplay is going to be a little bit more passive and focused a little bit more on transport and going from space station to space station. So the Pierce F4 still has really good firepower and would be my ultimate choice. And that's exactly what I have done in my fleet. I have a Pierce F4. From the very beginning, I got it early on, and I thought it was a dark horse from the very get-go. But the Mamba and the ATS Enforcer, those are still great ships, and for the value that you get out of them, gameplay versus comparison within the medium size and in comparison to the game as a whole, I think those are going to be at the top of any list that you're going to look for the biggest bang for your buck. So let me know what you think and leave your comments in the comments section below. I'm going to leave some links in the description for some of these different tools that community members have made. I think it's been really important that people have put the time in to make these, and it's fun to use those. Another tool that I'm going to do in my next episode, I believe, is actually the ranking. And I've seen a couple different people. Metaverse Explorer did it, and the Metaverse Nomads did a little ranking episode, and that looked like a lot of fun. The biggest thing was I noticed they were getting a lot of the ships in the wrong place. And the ranking was completely off. And so I wanted to help out and show them where the ships really should land in the ranking system. And so they have a correct answer sheet. And hopefully that will be helpful for them. But I'm going to do that next episode, so that'll be a little bit fun. And then kind of circling back to what I was talking about before is I've been really active and working in the real world, trying to build up my ability to be ready for taking advantage of the bottom of a bear market, to be able to benefit from the ultimate rise of crypto gaming and crypto in general as the market turns from a bear to a bull market. Not financial advice, just telling you what I've done. But I think we don't know when that's going to happen. It could be this week. It could be 6 months from now. It could be a year from now. I don't know. But markets are up and down, and I want to be ready for when it does turn into a bull market. And so what I've done is really focused on the things in my life that are going to be able to bring returns, and build my capital resources, and my cash flow. And so we purchased a farm back in July, and moved in August, and we've been working really hard. And this is basically 5 or 6 different income streams and trying to systemize it and get it in place. I'll do a little montage of some of the stuff that I've done. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, but some really cool things that we're doing. And I'll make a little video for that if anybody's interested in seeing what I've done. But the idea is find your side hustles. Focus on your main income streams, and really in the bear market, put your head down and get work done, and be productive, so that when the market turns around and there's a lot of opportunities, you're in a good place to take advantage of it. And I'm trying to build up my cash flow so that I have enough disposable income, my play money, that I can be involved in the growth of things like Star Atlas, Illuvium, Spider Tanks, these different games that I'm involved with and excited about, and be able to do it in a responsible way. And with my play money. But you need to be able to make that money in order to have some of that extra play money, your disposable income. And so that's what I encourage everybody else to do, is to really be productive in this time. This is a great time to just focus on being productive. And I chose this sort of block of time from January to today, because I knew that Star Atlas was developing, and they were coming out with Sage. I knew it was going to be delayed, and so this would be a great time where we have a bit of a lull in activity and development. Or I should say gameplay, new types of gameplay. I think the development has been shown, and I'm enjoying seeing more and more clips and the artwork, the concept art being turned into actual digital assets and gameplay footage with the racing, and that type of stuff. I've also really enjoyed seeing the economic focus. The Hologram did a great episode, and I'll leave that in the description below, a link to that, with the Econ team, and really, I think that episode was great. From my opinion, it really showed how important it is for the development of the Star Atlas economy, and how novel it is compared to anything else that's out there in Web3. And if I can be a part of that and help progress that development, I think that's, on top of being a fun game, having the economic development is really big for the Star Atlas community, but also Web3 as a whole. And Star Atlas is a great game. Concept at this point. I think it will be a great game, but also, to the naysayers who think that there's too much focus on the tokenomics or the economics of the game, I think that's where the greatest value comes from. And being involved with the farming world now quite a bit more, and then with the crypto world, and just watching how the world events are unfolding right now, I think parallel economies are going to be extremely important, and Star Atlas has the ability to create a very functional economy for us to work in and grow in. And so as a community, this time, now that some of that stuff is going to be rolling out, and I really want to see that part develop, I want to help create a much more tight-knit community, where we can do things together and be more active, involved with each other, to be able to develop those parallel economies to the economy that we're all familiar with and involved in right now. So that's sort of another side note to how all this development is going on, and what I focus on. Being productive, and really put your nose down and get to the grindstone, but also see the huge potential and the importance of what is being done and what we are a part of. So hopefully that was helpful. Don't worry about liking or subscribing. You can screw that algorithm, but if you can share the video with someone that would find it interesting, thinks about this stuff, and might have something to say, then please do that. And if you can do it, then today was a good day. Good morning, Metaverse.